Today we're talking about 5 ice cold INFJ moves. We as INFJs know that we have this cold as ice persona to us. This is an aspect of who we are. But most of the time we're actually ashamed of it. We're hiding it. We don't want to, exude it to other people. We don't want people to feel bad. And the truth is that this is a skill. The way you use it is really a question of, am I going to use it for good or for bad? But it's about time that we not only embrace this quality about ourselves, but also really lean into it and cherish it for what it gives us. So today we're looking at 5 ice cold INFJ moves and how we can use them in order to live the life we always wanted. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you haven't done this so far, to download the free poster on the 5 pillars to an INFJ Epic Life. The 5 pillars are the basis of the INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp. So make sure you're also on the waiting list if you want to join our next bootcamp round. It's going to be somewhere in August. So make sure you're on that list. You get access to the early bird price and get notified once we go live. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. Ice cold move number 1. The INFJ dreams and dares big. So if you really think about it, if you look at all the goals you've had in your life, all the things that you wanted to do, they were probably out of the ordinary. They're not going to be your everyday goals, and they're also not going to be some, I want to be an actress, but I'm not going to do anything about them kind of thing. No. When the INFJ has goals, most of the time they're a little bit outside of the norm. People would look at you differently. They would think, oh, who does that person think they are? If you really express it like you're going to do that, as if you would say, oh, next year I'm going on vacation, to visit my grandma, this kind of thing, right? We most of the time think about something that we want to achieve. And once we've actually narrowed it down and we've made that choice, it's done. And it doesn't matter how big it seems, it doesn't matter how outrageous it seems, it's going to become reality. And we not only think about it in a very intense way, we also make it very concrete. So once this has become like a reality, we're always going to find the way. The problem here is that most of the time, this is something that we hide from others, because if we would just say, oh, I'm going to go on this great vacation next year and I need to come up with this kind of money for it, or I'm going to apply for this amazing job and, it's not something everybody's going to get, or whatever it may be. Those things that feel like they're a possibility for us, we keep hidden so often. Why? Because it will make the people around us uncomfortable. That's at least what we think at that moment. So many INFJs struggle with this, and because of that, we're holding ourselves back. So please keep this in mind. This is a skill. The fact that you can think of it, that you can visualize it, and that you dare to do this. If it wasn't possible for you, you wouldn't have those ideas. But you have to make sure that this is something that you pursue, even if you feel like, oh, I can't tell it to everybody. It's really not a necessity. Like, tell it to the people who are going to encourage you, and the people who, will doubt you, well, keep it to yourself until you are so sure that you're going to take the steps, until like nobody can persuade you otherwise. So don't let the fact that others are fearful of going that far keep you back from using this ice cold INFJ move. Ice cold move number 2, the INFJ doesn't play the game of society, of what the unspoken rules are, of when you're going to be successful, when you're not. Because we've tried them. It's not like we haven't. But the thing is this, we very often come to a point where we recognize, oh, okay, if I wanted to, I could go in that direction. I could excel in this area. I could be great in this social situation. I could advance in this job situation. But it would all be a role. It's something that we could pretend to be doing, but it's not something that actually brings joy to us. And what we have to recognize, that it does bring joy to a lot of people, because they actually feel bad if they don't excel in those areas. They have to play by those rules, because if they don't, they feel ostracized. They feel like they're an outsider. They don't feel like they belong. And this is not to say that this makes you as an INFJ special and others are not. All of our minds work differently. But for INFJs in general, we're not in such a need of social approval. We're in this position where we need other people to think we're good people. Yes, this is something we have to struggle with, something that we have to work on, but we don't feel this necessity of being part of a societal game in order to feel good about ourselves. Even if we've tried it, we recognize it doesn't give us the joy that we wanted. And the fact that we don't need to play this game makes us so ice cold. This is an ice cold INFJ move, because once you're in a position where you don't need to play those games, you can actually make huge jumps in your life and excel in areas and, in ways you never thought possible. So be aware, this is a skill. This is something that makes you strong, and it's nothing to feel ashamed of. It's something that you should embrace and actually lean into. Ice cold move number 3. The INFJ always has a backup plan. And I don't mean it in a way of, oh, I'm never going to dare to do something amazing or out of the ordinary because I have a backup plan. You know how a lot of people say, if you have a plan B, you're not really all in when it comes to plan A. No, it's actually the other way around. We can go all in to plan A because we know that, no matter what happens, we're going to find another way. We either already have it figured out or we're going to be able to figure it out. This is, for example, something that INFJ experience a lot when it comes to relationships. We can go all in. We can be vulnerable. We can, be honest with what our intentions are, because we know if this doesn't work out, we can still find ourselves. We're going to be okay. We're going to find another way into becoming the person we want to be. And so we can handle it. A lot of people cannot do that. That's why they don't dare to actually be vulnerable with you, because they're so afraid of losing themselves that, this isn't even an option. It's something that, although it's very entertaining and it might be exciting, it's just too scary because there is no backup plan. The INFJ, the way we think, the way we strategize, we always have a backup plan. And it's not even something that is very tangible, but if you really think about it, you always had a backup plan. You always know, okay, I know what that person's insecurities are. I know that if this job doesn't work out, this is what I'm going to do. And these thoughts happen on autopilot, but they're still there. They're still there in your mind, and they're actually one of those moves that are going to push you to create extraordinary results in your life, because no matter what, you can rely on yourself and you can pick yourself back up. Ice cold move number 4. The INFJ is constantly evaluating other people. And I'm not talking about judging other people. It's the way we go through life. You as an INFJ, you're always aware of what the current tension is between two people. You are always aware of how they react towards you. You're always aware of how they react towards the situation. You're aware of, power dynamics changing. It's something that we pick up just on autopilot. And it's something that allows us to be very strategic about our life. It's also something that we very often are ashamed of. Not like openly, not even openly to ourselves, but how often do we think of ourselves, in a way of, oh, I'm a bad person because I'm not, as good-hearted as the other person, or I don't have such good intentions, because in the end of the day, I'm approaching this in a very strategic way. It's something that makes us feel bad very often, but it shouldn't be. Because the truth is this: if you're able to make decisions based on cold logic, if you're able to make decisions in a rational way, you can actually be way kinder than if you're a person who reacts super emotionally, isn't able to make decisions based on how this will benefit you most strategically in the long term, because then, you might get scared and you will hurt somebody. You might get offended and hurt somebody. Like, you've seen this with other people. And so often we think of ourselves as bad, or as like too harsh or too hard or too intense or whatever it may be. Like, we have this stone cold heart just because we don't get faced so easily. But please don't make this mean anything negative about you. Because you have this quality, you can actually make way kinder decisions, not just for yourself, but also for others. So recognize, yes, it is an ice cold move. I do evaluate people and situations on a constant basis, and therefore have the upper hand in a lot of situations. But that in itself doesn't make me a bad person. It actually allows me to create a great result for me and for others. An ice cold INFJ move number 5 is we only go into fights that we know we're going to win. So this is something that INFJs are particularly good at. So we really are all about harmony. We don't want to create tension. But most of the time, we're not only, looking for harmony in a way of, oh, I don't want to rock the boat because it's an uncomfortable, emotional state. We also don't like the tension, and we also don't like to get into any kind of altercation where we don't know what the result is. We're actually observers. We stand back, we evaluate the situation, how I talked about, and then think about what is the best next move here. We're not the kind of people who, get angry when somebody insults us and directly, say something back and get into like these back and forth conversations. No. We analyze the situation. We maybe even ask ourselves, okay, why is that person doing this? Understand what is going on. And the only way we would ever get pulled into some kind of situation like this is if we know how it's going to end. That is actually the reason why we hold ourselves back so often, because we know how it's going to end, which is we're going to hurt the other person. We know something about them, we know their insecurity, we know what to say in order to make them, shut up for real, all of those things, and we're afraid of this power. This is not something we want to do ever. So yeah, if we get in a situation like this, we know how it's going to end. Because the only way how we get pulled into something is if somebody keeps on nagging us. And when somebody keeps on nagging you, you learn everything about them. You want to know why they nag you, right? If somebody didn't have like some kind of insecurity with themselves, they wouldn't keep pushing you. They do that because they know that you know something about them that they don't want to admit to themselves or anybody else, right? It happens on a subconscious level maybe, but if you as an INFJ feel like people are constantly coming at you from this angle, no, this is the case. And this of course happens because we hold ourselves back, because we don't show our power. And if we get into fights like this, then, we already know the outcome. So this in itself is a super ice cold move if you think about it. This is something you would see in action movies. This is like, mystery saga kind of level. Again, it's not something that we like. We don't like ourselves afterwards. We don't like what we do to the other person. And the interesting part is you can actually get to a place where this is not even necessary. That means that if you say no more, I don't want to feel like this, I don't want to get in situations like this ever again, then you would have to actually include this aspect of your personality back into your day-to-day life. That means you don't shy away anymore from little confrontations. We're not talking about a fight here. We're talking about somebody says something to you that is disrespectful, something that, doesn't represent who you are or how you want to feel about yourself. Show people your boundaries. The sooner you do this, the more they're going to know who they're dealing with. And therefore, they're not going to pick at you because they know what would come. It's not a bad thing for people to understand that you're not somebody they want to mess with. And they're not going to get it by you constantly moving one step back, saying, please don't do this, let's keep it friendly and so on. Because if that person continues that path, at some moment, you don't have another choice. You have to bite back. And once you do that, once you really bite back, and I really use this word because this is really how it feels at that moment. If somebody keeps biting at you, like a dog or anything like this, and they keep hurting you, at some moment you have to bite back. And this is not a comfortable thing, but it's something that we can do because we have those ice cold aspects about ourselves. But if you include this in your overall day-to-day personality and you say, I'm not somebody to be messed with, then you'll see how less often you'll get into situations like this that really hurt your soul and, the other person on top of that. Remember, if you want some more guidelines how to build up that INFJ epic life on your terms, then check out the free poster on the 5 pillars to an INFJ epic life. And if you want to join our amazing INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp community, then join the waiting list so you get access to the early bird price and get notified once we go live next time. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video Why the INFJ Breaks Egos Without Even Trying.